want to do a TED Talk on whether solos should be removed from Dark and Darker, which is a hot button issue. There's a lot of solo players in this game. As somebody who has roughly 25, 50 hours on just solos alone, this is what I think. Whoa, subscribe to Dexterous.v, come follow the Twitch. Whoa. Hey, I didn't say it. Hey, I didn't say it. I think solos should get removed from Dark and Darker, but only from High Roller. And let me explain. First, let's talk about the good things about, let's bring it to normals, right? So first we got normals. Let's talk about the normal side of the game, right? But let me explain why it's good for the game. So solos, new players come into the game. Their friends might not be interested in Dark and Darker, or they might be doing something or whatever. Solos is a great way to just go in there and learn the game. I guess you got PvE now, which also does that to somewhat, but you can learn your class. You can learn the PvE. Easy to like first dip your feet into the water in against PvP, right? Because in PvE, now you can kind of do all that stuff with the PvE, learn the class, all that. But then you can also dip your feet into PvP once you go into normals and start learning about how gear interacts with PvP and all that stuff, right? So I think it's good to keep solos in that realm. And also, if in case people like that solos PvP, they can go to normals and experience that. Normals has a lower gear score, so it's a little bit more balanced than High Roller. So I think that's why it's a good thing in normals. Now let's talk about the good things about solos in High Roller. So next topic. All right, seriously, the good things about solos High Roller, it's easy to make money. I mean, you go do Troll, you go do Ghost King, you go do Lich, Wyvern. It's easy to go do bossing, but that's pretty much it. I don't see the point in removing solo mode because in that case, without a team, you'd have to play with random devs and you wouldn't have a choice. And I'm gonna talk about, I think, a solution to that problem. It's not gonna be a good solution at the start, but it's gonna be at least a solution that maybe could be better. There's like different builds you could try out that only works for solos that you can't really do in trios. Also, that's the thing. Other than that, it's just easy to play. You hop in solos. You don't have to find a team other than that, but that's also in normals. You could just go hop in normals. Let's talk about the bad things. Let's talk about bad things that solo does is that the balance is so messed up because of solos. Ironmace is so wish-washy on, should we balance trios? Should we balance solos? Do we balance arena? Like, it just, the whole game's balance is just out of whack because of solos, and solos is just completely unbalanced. You get landmined, you get two-tapped by Barb, a chicken panther flies across the map, two-shots you. Ranger is the best ranged class, along with being the best melee class. Wizard is sitting on the ground watching this all happen because he's out of spells. Warlock is just this unkillable healing tank. Fighter is the master of everything. Bards exist, I guess. You don't see your bards. You're too busy playing music for the wizard that's sitting down. It's just a mess. The only reason why people play solos High Roller is a couple reasons. You're either new to the game or a beginner and you like solos, you played solos norms and you're like, I'm ready for High Roller. You go into High Roller, you get absolutely wiped by a skilled player or somebody with tons of gear. The second option is you want to abuse a meta class or a broken build that it's either going to farm gold, AP, or bosses. And the 1%, the third option is the 1% of you just like solos PvP and you just want to have fun just playing solos. Mostly it's just the first two options. It's either new player coming into the game, wanting to play High Roller, he's going to get rolled, is not going to have a fun time. A second option, abuse X broken build, broken class to get the most amount of profit. And that's just unhealthy. That's just not fun. Why should trios and duos balance suffer so that people go abuse X thing to get the most amount of profit? AP, gold, bosses, gear, etc., etc. If they're not going to balance solos, then just remove it. Now that we've said that, though, there creates a new problem now, right? So let's say we remove solos, and let's say in this situation there's no duos, right? There's only trios, which means less queues, which is great. But let's just say in High Roller, there's only trios, right? We just remove these two. This creates a new problem. The new problem is there's no more solos, so these solo players have to find people to play with, right? 300-hour player, it's like, oh, I missed solo High Roller, I gotta go play trios, I'm willing to give it a shot. He goes, finds 2 other 300-hour players, grabs some random people out the Discord or his friends, goes into trios, and now they load up in the game. The first team they go against is a 15k hour in total team that absolutely wipes them with some best gear, all of their experience. They just annihilate them in seconds. Well, that's not fun either, right? The 300-hour team that doesn't have a lot of hours to play, is a casual, they're gonna get wiped by every single sweat team in Trio High Roller, unless they third party, which that is always an option, but most of the time they're gonna get rolled, right? Also, there is a fill option, right? If the solo player wants to immediately get into the game, he can go, all right, I'm gonna go load in with random people. He's gonna queue into with random players, and just because you have 2 other random players that, whether they have mics or not, they could range at different skill levels. Your communication and your teamwork is not going to be there, and you're going to get immediately slammed by the 15k hour team. Like if I loaded up right now with random players, we'd probably 80 to 90% are going to lose to the stacked team that always plays together and, you know, knows what they're doing. Especially if one team has a druid or a cleric with a support, because support is just super strong, and if your team doesn't have a support, you're just gonna lose. What I think would fix the problem is, since these 2 queues get removed, you could bring in a new queue. So there's only gonna be 2 queues, which is a trios queue of only players that have a party, right? You could only queue up with this if you have a party of 3. You go in, you verse other people that are partied with 3 already, a pre-teamed party of 3. What that's going to create is, since you already have to have a party of 3, all of those are going to be sweats, right? And the sweats finally get to have their queue of only sweats, right? They don't have to create some secret Discord like in the olden days of, hey, if you want to play with only gold gears, here, come to Brazil servers at this time, and we're going to all get together, and we're going to give each other back their gear so we can keep running these sweat lobbies, right? The sweats can go into that lobby and have fun playing against other sweats, right? And then the other queue is going to be solo auto-filled queue. So you go in, you're solo, you click fill party, and you get paired up against other solos that get paired up with other solo players. That team get together as a team of 3, and that's a queue, right? What that creates is, it's like that Tarkov kind of feel where you get put into a game and you have no idea what skill of players you're going against. You could go against new players, intermediate players, or advanced players. The skill level is going to change because it's all solo players getting put up, randomized within the teams. That could create some fun trios gameplay. Like I would play that if you're going against other randomly filled teams. Like that's going to create so much fun dynamics of like crazy gameplay, because you're playing against new players, and you know you're not going to go against the 15k hour team. Now this is going to create a problem of people trying to snipe their friends to make it unfair, because it's a stack team against an autofill solo team. They're gonna have to fix the system with that. They're gonna have to do a lot of work. Ironmace is not good at thinking ahead, so you know, unfortunately that's gonna be abused. But at least, you know, it gives an option for solo players or duo players to at least like have like another mode to go to since solos is removed. So I think that would be fun. Ironmace is great at thinking ahead, right? No, Ironmace is great at thinking ahead. So that's my take. I would be down to try out a solo autofill team only if they remove solos, duos, and High Roller. Do that, balance the game well to win for everyone. That would be fire. I think that would be fun. I don't like an autofill solo trios experience would be so fun. If they fixed it where you couldn't abuse it in a perfect world, it would be super fun. I would try it out. If you don't like it, you can go play normals. It sucks because you're limited to what builds you use. You're limited to the rewards you can't get uniques, but if it's to make the game better in the future, then you know that's how it has to be.